Good evening. We'll call the Hawarden City Council of Hawarden, Iowa to order on Wednesday, May the 8th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council and staff members other than Corey, and Mike will give us an update on his surgery in a little bit. If you wish to address the council and staff and myself this evening, you are welcome to do that at the podium. Agenda item number 1C. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Otherwise, there will not be, other than the public hearing on number 4A, any other public input tonight. So we'll start with agenda item number 1A, the approval of the April 24th, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. Council members have had it in their packet since Friday.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis, a second by John. Further questions or clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor and approval of the April 24th, 2000 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Next is approval of our claims for payment for May 8th. We'll start with Tim for questions.
None.
Okay, Travis, any questions?
None, thank you.
Okay, John?
None, thanks.
Jen, questions?
No questions.
Rob, any questions?
No questions.
Hearing no questions, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Rob, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor then of the claims for payment for May 8th, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Next is open business from the community. Anyone wish to address the council? Kind of quiet. That's all right. We'll close that then and move on to the mayor's report for today. Thanks to all of those that participated in the citywide cleanup. Appeared to be very successful and a great start in cleaning up our community. Thanks to the staff members and all the council members for taking their time yesterday to spend with the candidate for the Community Economic Development Director position. We want to congratulate all the graduates at West Sioux and all the other areas, schools, and colleges. West Sioux graduation will be Sunday the 19th. We thank their parents and the students for raising good kids and the kids for being successful in their academics. I found this by a person named Westheimer. He said, "My favorite animal is a turtle. The reason it is that in order for the turtle to move, it has to stick its neck out. There are going to be times in your life when you're going to have to stick your neck out. There will be challenges, and instead of hiding in a shell, you have to go out and meet them." So great advice, and best of luck to you, the graduates. We received a thank you from the golf member boards. It starts out, thank you for your support. Could not have done it without you. Mayor Porter and city council members. On behalf of the members of the golf course and Hawarden Golf Club Board of Directors, we'd like to thank you for all the city does for the golf course throughout the years. We're working hard to keep things positive, but could not do this without all of your help. Sincerely, Matt Hummel, President, and all the members of the Board of Directors. We work closely with the golf course and the golf board members, and we thank them. That's a volunteer board. They take a lot of time and effort in making that a great place. And tonight, we thank all of the government students for being with us. We hope you learn a little bit tonight about local government and how the city council works. Move on to staff reports, and I know Jim's will be long, so we'll start with him.
Nothing to report.
That's long enough. Jacob, Finance Officer, please.
Just prepping for the end of the year stuff again, and we've got the budget amendment put together. You guys should have a copy of that in your packet, and then also some explanations. Break it down a little bit further, so if you have any questions, you can bring them up when we talk about that, and that is all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you. Travis.
I'd like to start with the transmission line. The project plans and specs are ready, and they're out for bid right now. There'll be a bid opening June 5th at 1:30 p.m. at the city office, and they'll be ready for approval at the June 12th meeting. So that project's moving along. The other thing, our natural gas public awareness plan It's an ongoing yearly attempt to ensure that our natural gas utility is providing the public with natural gas safety. There's many aspects to this, includes letters to area contractors once a year, meetings with fire, police, and ambulance, surveys to public officials and first responders. And we list many files on the City of Hawarden website on natural gas safety. And one other aspect is a telephone survey to our customers and non-customers in the surrounding area. This will begin mid to late May, and the calls will be made to landlines only. If you do get a call, I'd urge you to please take a couple minutes to answer the survey. It's a state and federal mandated program that we use to assess our public reach on the natural gas safety. Calls are made Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., and the caller ID will show up as our local city office number. This is an attempt to get more calls to be answered instead of coming up with an unknown long-distance number. Any questions can be answered by calling the city office. Thanks.
Great. And how did you think citywide cleanup went?
Really good. I believe we had the same amount of material. We've got quite a few dumpsters loaded already, so that seems to be flowing smoother than it did last year. So
Okay.
that's the biggest thing, is to get it loaded and get it out of there now.
And people pretty well did a nice job?
Yeah, it
with-
went real well. Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
Thanks for the staff for that. And Tim ain't well, I would imagine.
I believe so.
And just like you mentioned, though, a lot of good things on the website for gas and electric and all those types of safety things. So it's
Yeah,
a great
there's a
place.
lot more there than you see if you dig in and look under the utility
You bet.
section. So
Good, thank you. Mike DeBryan, City Administrator.
Just a quick update on Corey. He did have his surgery yesterday for his back. Doctors were pleased with the way it turned out and said that he should make a quick recovery if he does what he's supposed to. Swimming pool update, we do have the pumps ordered. They should be here next week. And then ACO is going to come up and put those in, and we did get approved today that they are covered by insurance. So that's good news. It's just not good news. We have to delay everything. So we still plan on the pool opening around the 1st of June. So if all that comes in and gets put in time.
Any questions for staff from council? Any council comments? Okay. We'll move on to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3, presentation of bid specs by Sam Johnson, DGR, in reference to the wastewater project. Sam, welcome.
Thanks, Mayor and Council, for carving out some time for me tonight. I think most of the council was here last time I was here, about 11 months ago. But if not, I'm Sam Johnson with DGR. I was the project manager on our wastewater treatment facility project that we have ongoing. So tonight, I just kind of wanted to give you an update on where we're at, what we've been doing the last 10, 11 months with the project. So if you want to go to the next slide there. So progress to date, is kind of an outline of my presentation. Give you an update on the progress to date with funding, facility planning, and design.
Same one in the packet.
I'll give you an idea of what's next to come, our upcoming work with bidding, letting, construction, an updated cost estimate, schedule, and any questions that you guys have. So progress to date, we were approved by the state for a lower interest loan, 20-year loan, to finance the wastewater treatment facility project through a state revolving fund. With SRF, there are certain requirements that the city needs to abide by. The city needs to hire a municipal advisor to help with the finance of the project. We need to abide by American iron and steel requirements since there is federal dollars involved, which means we need to buy domestic materials that are American iron and steel. And also, we need to abide by Davis-Bacon wage rates for the project. We also recently received some feedback that the City of Hawarden's SRF-sponsored project, which is a coattail project on our wastewater treatment facility project, is being recommended for award through the state. So there was a number of items that city staff and the the state came up with for our water quality project, and that is recommended for approval. We should hear more on that in the upcoming months. The facility plan was submitted and approved by Iowa DNR. We also submitted plans and spec for IDNR to approve, and we got our approval last Thursday, which includes a construction permit. Since we have that construction permit, we're good to go ahead and go out for bid, follow bid law, and get a contractor. So I wanted to show a couple of our plan sheets that we went forward with our design. Here's our title sheet for the treatment facility project. And then the next sheet shows a better idea of exactly what we're doing out at the treatment plant. When I was here 10 months ago, nothing really has changed. We're replacing the entire aeration system. We're making the treatment plant more automated for Al. So there should be more kind of set it and forget it mode for Al, so he can spend his time elsewhere. Updating some equipment, also providing some VFDs, as well as some cost savings with some energy recovery with VFDs. The next page shows a more detailed idea of our aeration equipment. We're using a fine bubble diffused aerator system in both aeration basins as well as the aerobic digester. We're providing a DO controller so that DO is controlled so we're not wasting energy out there. The next slide shows the new clarifier covers that we'll have to protect the clarifier equipment. It's kind of a different perspective, just showing that kind of equal protection of all the equipment underneath that clarifier roof.
And Sam, right now, they're exposed, correct?
Right now they're exposed. Al does cover it in the winter with a tarp, just to make sure some of that equipment isn't compromised with the elements. So this will be new and nice, and he's able to work on equipment underneath those covers. The next slide shows the new structural insulated panel building that will build over top the UV structure. Again, this is exposed, and this provides a little bit of protection for both the equipment and also Al when he's doing work out there. The next slide is our new blower building. We're replacing the 3 existing centrifugal blowers with 3 PD blowers. We're going to build that building off to the side. Initially, we were going to try to utilize the existing. Once we dove into it, it's probably best that we replace that for a couple different reasons. One, the existing building is very old. It's original construction, and it's not in very good shape. And 2, we need to keep the existing plant operational, so we need to build off to the side. We can't pick and choose, blowers that we want to pull out and replace. So it's best that we probably just build off to the side and make sure that's all new and working. So that's what we've been doing to date. Like I said, last week we got our construction permit. So tonight I'm here, assuming the council wants to move forward with the project, we'll move forward and advertise the project here in the next week. We'll send it out to all the contractors, papers, plan centers, League of City website to make sure that we're following all bid law. And we're planning to open bids early June, before the first June council meeting. So we're planning on a June 10 at 2 o'clock bid letting. The thought is that'll give us a day and a half to check references if need be, and then hopefully award at the June 12th council meeting. And then we'll jump right into construction, assuming that we award the project to one general contractor. We'll be on site to handle any administration, observation. We'll work with city staff to make sure that the contractors installing what we have specified. We'll take care of all pay applications, change orders, progress meetings, and on-site meetings that are necessary. And then, of course, we'll carry it through the end of the project to make sure that the project's closed out adequately. So 11 months ago when I gave you an initial cost estimate for our facility plan that carried a contingency of 15%. Now that we have a better handle of where we're at with construction, we dropped that down to 5%. We don't want to carry unnecessary money into our SRF loan. So we're actually at the same exact bottom line. We added some stuff throughout the project, the new blower building. We also added, we are planning to replace the old MCC buckets in the control room. It turned out those were old and unoperational, so it's best that we replace those. So we added some stuff. We brought our contingency down, and we're actually at the same exact bottom line number that we were 11 months ago. So we feel pretty comfortable with that number going into bidding. Bidding climate is okay right now, and we hope to get good bids in June.
Just to clarify, the MCC, that's all the electrical controls and switches.
Yep, that's powering all.
They're all original, so
Yep,
now's the time to.
yep, it seemed like the right thing, and I think everybody agreed with that, so.
Is there enough time for that bidding? Just, if you're saying 4 weeks or whatever?
Yeah, typical timeline is 4 weeks. Latest we'll get it advertised is next Wednesday. That'll be exactly 4 weeks to the following council meeting. This type of project, 3 to 4 weeks is more than common. Yep, I think that's it. I think that's fair to all the contractors. So the next slide is our schedule going forward. We received our construction permit last Thursday. We're hoping to have a bid letting June 10, notice of award, and then at the same time, you'll enter into a resolution to accept those SRF dollars. Once we award, then there'll be some back and forth for 3 to 4 weeks with the contractor getting insurance certificates and all the proper documentation prior to giving them the notice to proceed. We're hoping to give them the notice to proceed late June, early July, where then they can start construction as soon as possible. The thought was to give them this construction season plus all of next construction season to get favorable bids. So our thought was substantial completion September 2020, and final completion October of 2020. So we'll give them about 45 days in between to finish punch list items and make sure everything's cleaned up out there. Any questions from the council?
Mike and I were talking a little bit earlier today. I appreciate the fact that Al Mesa's had some good conversation in all of this project putting together too, since he's the main person out there. And
Yeah, we're not the ones running the equipment at the end of the day when we leave town, so it's nice to have some good input from city staff and make sure that they're comfortable with what's being installed and specified. So we try to keep them involved as much as possible.
And we always appreciate working with DGR in projects like this. You do a fine job for us as a city.
Thanks. Any questions, feel free to call me. Thanks.
So if we could get a motion and a second and a vote on continuing to move the wastewater project forward and setting the bid date of June 10, 2019 at 2 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion by Travis, a second by Jen, to continue to move forward with the wastewater treatment program project and to have bid letting on June the 10th at 2 p.m. here at the city offices. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Sam, thanks for being with us tonight. Agenda item number 4 is a public hearing regarding the sale of the following parcel. You can see it there in your agenda. It's been posted. Parcel number, tax number, and so forth. I will open the public hearing at this point. Anyone wish to address the council or staff in regards to the public hearing? Have you heard anything in regards to that at the city offices?
No.
Okay. Any comments from council? Okay. We will close the public hearing, which then moves us to Resolution 2019-22, authorizing the final disposition of the real property. Is there a motion for that resolution?
So moved.
Moved by John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Roll call, please, for Resolution 2019-22.
Olson.
Aye.
Feldhecker.
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Kurth.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-22 passes. Agenda item number 5 is a fiscal year 2019 budget amendment, and set a public hearing on the budget amendment for our next meeting, May 22nd. Mike, want to give us an overview with that, or Jacob?
Just a brief overview, and if you got questions in detail, I'll turn it over to Jacob. But every year, we got to true up our budget by the end of May, and this is doing that. What we found over the last several months is a lot of this is transfers that hadn't been actually moved around for the last couple of years, so we had to move some of those around. It's the Sioux County Conservation money that we pledged to them, and we also put in the final payment so that we can just clear it off our books by the end of this fiscal year. By just moving the money around is what we did. We didn't really have to go in and find any new monies. It was just more cleaning up what we needed to do for the year, plus move those transfers around. So, Jacob, if you have anything else?
Unless you guys have questions, he's pretty much covered it.
Are those transfers back and forth, is that what we did during the budget time? That you said that we were going to move some transfers around? Can you help explain
Right.
a little bit more?
When we pass the budget, we also transfer some utilities
Yeah.
into general fund and things like that. These are also transfers of TIF funds into different funds. We had money from our street assessments that was just sitting there and wasn't being transferred out into debt service to pay off part of the street, to pay off part of our bills that we had on the street, our loan. So with this, we have enough accumulated. We're going to pay off West 10th Street. Is it 1 or 2 years early? Because the money is accumulated, and then there's no sense in us paying interest on that. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot of just the internal transfers and moving the money around. Then we need to true it up for the auditors, basically, and for the state, and let them know what we're doing with those funds.
Okay.
Any other questions in regards to the budget amendment? I'd entertain a motion to set a public hearing on the budget amendment for May 22nd, 2019, and to publish the public hearing notice.
So moved.
Moved by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 6, this would be a resolution 2019-23 authorizing an internal advance for funding of the urban renewal projects. Pass it
this-
again to Mike.
This will allow us to, when we talked about the downtown project, we talked about doing an internal loan from electric of $900,000 to cover the cost of the downtown improvements. Those monies then will be paid back over through TIF funds. So this will allow us to do the transfer of the money into its own project fund so that we can pay for that project. And it also sets up the repayment schedule. We have it actually scheduled out for like over 10 years, but if things go as kind of planned, it'll be shorter than that.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. This is for Resolution 2019-23, authorizing the internal advance for funding of the urban renewal project. I'd ask for a roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-23.
Bergsma.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Kurth.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-23 passes. Just a little clarification for you students out there that might not hear some questions from council members at some point. We get all of this in our packets on Friday. So a lot of times these council members will call Mike or Travis or Jacob or something and ask them personally for questions that they may have within the packet. And also, if you're interested, it's always on the website. You can see exactly what's on the agenda and what we're seeing there too. Agenda item number 7 is discussion on ambulance rates.
We were notified through PCC, which is our billing company that does our ambulance billing, and they're a huge company. They do most of at least the services in Iowa. Anyway, that insurance payout rates have gone up for reimbursement to ambulance services. So they recommended that we upgrade our rates or update our rates to the allowable of the insurance rates. So that's what this ordinancer will bring back an ordinance at the next meeting in order to raise those rates and to bring them up to what we can get reimbursed for from the insurance companies. Obviously, Medicare and Medicaid and stuff rates are still going to be scaled back, but for private insurance, this will
Okay.
increase some revenues. As you can see, they're not huge increases, but
This is for people's insurance.
yes.
That's what their insurance company's
Yeah,
reimbursing
their
us.
the insurance
their
company's
payment.
allowable reimbursements have gone up.
Okay.
So,
Should we be doing this more often if it's 7 years since we did it, or?
yes. Yes, we need to stay on top of it more often.
Okay.
Along with that regard, I know the staff's looking really close at all the different entities, handbooks, and all those types of things for continually updating, so.
Yeah, we're trying to update quite a few things, and as these come up, of course, we'll bring them to council for updates, but
Any further discussion with the ambulance rates? Again, yeah, it's been quite a few years, so the ambulance squad does a great job for our community in the area. We thank them for that. We'll continue with discussion of gas-based rates then that haven't been looked at since 2009, so that's a little bit further back, so.
Yeah, here's another instance where I don't know if it just got overlooked. The monies were coming in and going out, the budgeted every year. But really, after digging into it, you'll see the base rate, $5 for minimum charge. And I went back and calculated that our fixed charge yearly we're short.
you can see in the old ordinance, you can see what our fixed charges or what that $5 base rate was supposed to go to. I'll get to it here in a second. What it was supposed to go to and cover. Well, you know, things are a lot different in 2009 than they are today. And as we got to figuring up what these expenses all cost us, the $5 was way behind. And, you know, it's another thing that we just need to update. So
I calculated the last 5 years, and to just break even on our base charges, our fixed bills would be $845, $847, $876, $862, and $891. So we're just proposing that we raise that base rate for every meter $4 to make it $9. And then also we'll review it every year from now on, just to make sure we're staying where we're at.
Sounds good.
So if we're all in agreement to that, we'll bring back an ordinance at the next meeting on that as well.
Any other thoughts or questions about the base rate?
Is that for our customers that just have
Just have gas.
gas?
Yes.
And not, okay.
If you don't have any, if you don't have a
It's not
gas
affected,
meter,
okay.
it won't adjust, by your volume. It's just the base rate to have a gas meter.
Meter, okay.
Agenda item number 9 is the approval of the seal coat bids. It must be spring.
Yeah, we received 3 seal coat bids this year. The road guy was the lowest bid. The last 2 years, we had top coat, but we kind of wanted to, we've had the road guy before and haven't had any problems, so we're going to recommend that we take the low bid of the road guy.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion by Rob. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John to accept the low bid for seal coat bids. Then again, just a little knowledge to those folks that are in attendance. For government class, we do not have to take the low bid. We can justify ourselves. We can take a different bid. But tonight, they'd like to accept the low bid since we've worked with them and it's the low bid. So there's a motion by Rob and a second by John. Any further questions or clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor then of the seal coat bid by low bid, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 10, this would be a resolution 2019-24, talking about the approval of the downtown streetlight bids.
When we opened the bids, we had 1 for the downtown street lighting project. It was a little higher than the engineer's estimate, but with the next bit of the asphalt being lower than the engineer's estimate, they kind of even out. And we're dependent upon getting the lights done before we want to do the streets because we don't want any big equipment twisting and turning when we put the lights in. So we would recommend that we accept that bid with Resolution 2019-24.
So
Those would be
moved.
the lights and the installation thereof.
This would be the boring, the lights, the installation, the taking down of the old, removal of the old bases of the lights, the complete lighting project.
Okay, we talked at one time, any concrete work around those, or that's just, this is all?
That does not include the concrete around the sidewalk that they're going to have to do. We have got another contractor lined up for that, to do those, to come in right after they're done and fill those in.
Okay. And can we sell those old lights for, California could buy those
They're,
babies?
they're for sale.
As long
Anybody-
as they leave town. As long as they leave town.
Right, yeah, we're not going to keep them local. All right. Is there a motion for approval of Resolution 2019-24?
So moved.
Moved by Jen, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Any questions or clarifications? Roll call vote then, please, for Resolution 2019-24.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-24 passes. Agenda item number 11, this would be a resolution approving the downtown asphalt overlay bid, another part of the downtown enhancement. Want to give us an overview about that? Jen had some questions early, I think.
Yes, we had 3 bids for that. Knife River came in with the lowest bid by a considerable amount. Knife River is also the company that did our alleys, did the grinding down and the overlay of our alleys. The engineer looked over the bid specs and everything that was included and has no problem with that bid. It is lower than the engineer's estimate, so kind of evens the project out a little bit.
Are these the 2 biggest things for the project? Is that,
Yes,
This
these are
is
the
it.
2 big things.
okay.
We have some smaller concrete work that needs to be done with taking out the old curbs and repouring some of those. What do we have, 160 feet of curbs I think we're going to replace. And then the filling in the concrete around the light poles, and then doing the ADA accessible intersections.
And then this is going to be asphalt, so it's going to be like blacktop
This will be a
up
blacktop
to the
surface.
curbs, and then we'll
Yeah.
get to redo the curbs.
Right, they'll
They'll be
redo,
concrete.
they'll redo the broken sections of the
Okay.
curbs. It's not gonna be all new curbing, it's the broken sections, so.
And when would
this-
this start?
They were supposed to, they had a date of the lighting is supposed to be done by the middle of August. And as soon as we get the approval tonight, they'll get the contract to them so they can start the lighting right away. And then the road construction is,
They're tentatively planning for September,
yeah.
so after Labor Day.
And they all had these dates in their bid documents. We think that's probably why we only got one lighting one, was because it was a shorter window. So,
And everyone's aware of the Labor Day festivities and how everything has to line up, so there won't be anything opened up over that time.
Is
Did you
there a
talk
time
to
for
Knife-
completion?
time
Talk to
completion, I
Knife
believe,
River
is at
about
the end of
why they're so
September.
low? Did they miss something, or, I mean,
No, everything was,
that's really a lot.
Yeah. You know, it can be a number of things when they bid these. They could have enough work that, you know, if they get it, great. If they don't, that's fine. Some of it,
there really wasn't one thing that stuck out, like all the different, the oil, the taking out, the milling, everything was cheaper,
the
so it
mill and the
wasn't.
fabric underneath, everything was, I mean, it was all specified and bid, you know. So, yeah, I don't,
Strange to be that far off at
Yeah.
such a small
Yeah.
bid.
and then, you know, like I said, our engineers went back, reviewed all the bids and what was in their specs, and they were happy with the low bid, so.
So are we.
So, yeah,
Yes.
very happy.
So moved.
Missed something.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. This is for Resolution 2019-25. Any other questions or clarifications for this resolution? Hearing none, I'd call for a roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-25.
Olson,
Aye.
Clocky,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-25 passes. This evening, we have no consent agendas, so all the liquor licenses and things apparently are up to date. Our next regular stated meeting will be Wednesday, May the 22nd, again at 5:30. Understand that government class members need a picture, so we'd invite them when we close to come up for that. Staff members and/or council members will certainly answer any questions that you may have of them tonight. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved by Tim, is there a
A
second?
second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Hawarden City Council is adjourned.